Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Husker Heat. It feels like we've just kind of gotten going here, and the end of the season's in sight. All of a sudden, we only have there's only 2 series left. There's 2 series left, and then playoffs.
February.
What?
We've been going at this since February.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel it. It feels kind of new. We didn't start in February though, right away. We didn't start till March.
I'm not talking about this.
No, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this show, and now
Okay.
now we're down to like 2 series, and then Big Ten playoffs, regionals, etc. So anyway, Miley's jumping my shit early. Say hi to everybody, Miley. You know they love you. You're not going to say hi?
I did.
I didn't hear you. You must have been talking under me.
Must have been old.
Yeah. Well, I can't help that. That's my excuse. What's yours? All right.
Related to you. That's my excuse.
Sorry, what?
I'm related to you. That's my excuse.
No, we've moved on already.
Oh, shut up.
All right. Let's get going here. Hey, and I won't be here for it, but the spring game, the spring festivities, whatever you call it, for football this year are this Saturday. I don't know if anybody is going to shell out the $50 to tour the new facilities, but there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. With the Husker volleyball plays Kansas. Yep. They're going to have some 7-on-7 football, I believe, and that's supposed to be in the next Summer Olympics, if I heard that right, like men's and women's. Right. I think they're up they're playing like Nebraska's
like
got
the UNL All-Stars or something.
Okay. And then what was sounding the best to me is apparently there's going to be all sorts of food trucks there too, and I would have looked forward to that a great deal. And they're actually and they are going to have, as well as some of the flag football, they're going to have actually live football, I guess, with say the lower half of the roster, the guys. They said you won't probably see anybody from the 2 deep, maybe get some third, fourth stringers, but you had some players that when Rule went to trim the roster after the Pinstripe Bowl, were told, well, they'd like to come to spring practice because they're not leaving the team until somebody tears the jersey off their back, was the expression Matt Rule used. And and you could tell, it's like he's like, I'll do anything for these guys, but now he has to go through another round of heartbreaking cuts. But this way, not only do these guys get one last chance to show what they can do, but then they're also going to film the whole thing, try and get a lot of individual film in there as much as they can take. So it's stuff that they can show coaches at the schools that they would like maybe want to move on to and attend and keep their football careers going. So that could be fun to watch. And some people, they're just trying to make more money. I'm like, I didn't see anywhere where they're charging for it.
It's $10 a ticket.
Is that it? Okay, but isn't that what they were going to charge anyway?
What, for the spring game?
Yeah, I thought they were going to charge that anyway for all the other stuff going on inside the stadium, but
maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, anyway, I think it's a real nice thing to do for those guys. And other than that, I didn't go down today because I'm getting ready to take off for Washington tomorrow. So busy, but didn't sound like there were many. Spring's about over. I think they've talked as much about practice as they said everything they can. They're not going to tell you who the starters are yet or anything like that. John Butler did say last Thursday that he does, at least defensively, he says they may not know who's starting yet, but they've got a really good idea of what their 2 deep looks like on the depth chart. So, practice matters. But let's get going into softball. It was a lively 2-game series against Indiana. They lost the first one 6-2 with the wind blowing in from left, just kind of murdered the Husker bats. There was a lot of stuff that was probably extra base hits and at least one Jordy ball home run just got brought right back in by the winds that were gusting like 25 to 30 miles an hour. It's just straight in from left field. And whereas the ones Indiana got in the air just seemed to elude the Husker gloves. Somebody I don't think it was Hannah, but somebody in left field made a really nice play on a deep foul ball into the corner, which kind of blew across, blew back into play. And she went sliding up there right by the wall to make a catch, even though they lost the game 6-2. But she made a really nice catch in the 7th inning. But not everyone did. There were some goofy things with the wind, and it was just one of those things. They lost the first game 6-2. And we'll show you a little later. The Indiana coach just decided to have an absolute meltdown somebody was trying to score from second. Runner comes in with the bases loaded to tie it up at 2-2. Huskers were leading 2-1. Tie it up 2-2. Tries to score the runner behind her. She gets tagged out on a really nice play at the plate. And Indiana and Northwestern have the whiniest coaches in the conference. Just complain. Every little challenge, everything, every little call. Like Northwestern, they disallowed that this year, but one of the shitty little things coaches did was, especially late in the game, if they had a challenge left, if somebody hit a home run to like win the game ended or take the lead, they would challenge a runner leaving base early. Whether they did it or not, they were like, yeah, screw it, I'm doing it. And everybody's like, why is this even a thing? You know, why should somebody have their home run disallowed because somebody stepped off second base half a second early? And so this year they made the rule nobody's allowed to challenge leaving early on home runs. And Northwestern would just do that nonstop. Rhonda never really did that. Just didn't see the point. But this one did. Now we've got Sean, I think it's Shonda Stewart, the Indiana coach, or Shonda Stanton, just has a meltdown for the ages. I got the video here to show you in a little bit. It really was. I mean, we were just up in the box laughing. And what the thing is, when I'm in the press box, there's a row of seats right in front, and if somebody's not there, I think it's the World Herald seat, and they don't always come, then I get that seat at the end of the aisle with a better view. Or I go up and on like a second level, and I don't mind that either. Here, I'll just show you the view. All there are at the back of the head, so I'm not showing anybody who doesn't want to be seen. But the guy in the middle there, that's the replay board, and they have like 9, 12 different replay cameras. So anytime there's a replay, this guy puts his headset on, goes to the board, and I can just look over his shoulder and know what the call is going to be and things like that. So that was kind of fun. So I got to watch them. Hey, she is out, but she'd already used her challenges up by the 5th inning or whenever that was. So instead, she decides she's just going to blow her stack, just lose her mind, and bum rush the ump like George Brett. And it was just, I mean, it had to be kind of embarrassing for Indiana. It was just such a little tantrum, but it was for us. It was funny, and somebody had just the clear shot of her entire meltdown. Like the one I'm going to show you, you miss a little of it because they're showing the replay. This one, no, we probably watched this thing through like 3 times, just laughing our butt off upstairs there. But anyway, did come back the next day, win 12-4, another run rule, extending the school record for that in the season to like 18 run rule wins. And it's 5th inning. And one thing I will tell you about Indiana's coach on Saturday was it was a much, much different person. Now, I don't know how many games George Brett got suspended for trying to rush the umpire. I thought she'd get something. Nah, she's there the next day. I think the Big Ten just chooses not to penalize Michigan, Ohio State, or anyone who's playing us. Nah, it's not that bad, but kind of is. But I was like, but she was out there, but she was on her best behavior. She's being nice to the umps, didn't argue about anything all day. I think what she did to protest was just change pitchers. She made 5 pitching changes, and most of them were, I can't remember. It was another different starter, but then the lousy pitcher who's just been getting bombed all year and walking everybody. Oh, heck, I've got her name here. Brianna. Hold on. No, you know what? Brianna Copeland. And they just switch off. All right, first base and pitcher switch, and they did it twice in an inning. And it was just, and the fans were just going, come on, just let him pitch. The starting pitcher, she literally throws 11 pitches. So she's got 2 outs and runners on the corners, or maybe 1 out and runners on the corners. And they're already switching her out on the 4th batter. And I know it's the rule you can switch out and back all you want in softball, but it's just when I see that, it's like, well, maybe there ought to be a little more of a limit, something like that. So I think she might have been doing that just to be annoying and slow the game down. The game only went 4.5 innings and took 2 hours and 45 minutes. Because it was, yeah, she used both challenges again. I tweeted out a red alert, look out for an ejection after the challenges, but nope, she just kept being nice. So I got the feeling maybe the athletic director or somebody from the conference was like, we're going to let this go, but you be on your best behavior. We're tired of this. And so anyway, that was what seemed was happening to me. Rhonda Revelle got ejected from the game in a complete 180. She exceeded the number of mound visits, and I have a feeling it might have been a little bit intentional because it was the 6th inning, and it must have been. My thinking is she knows how many mound visits she gets, but really wanted to talk and just goes, "I'm going to get this across, then I'll get ejected." And nobody knew. I mean, the ump didn't make a big deal. Didn't punch her out of there. She just starts heading off toward right field after the mound visit, and somebody in the booth goes, "Is she throwing herself out of the game?" And then we found out, no, she got ejected. I think she said afterwards it was only the 2nd time in her career she's been ejected in 1,600 games or something like that. So she'll go talk to umps, but I've never seen her really just blow her stack and ignore warnings. I don't know, Mylie, what do you think? Should we watch it?
Sure.
All right. Let's show you that video first, and then we've also got a really nice close-up of the out that sparked it also.
Okay, so for reference, this girl, I don't know if it was this one, but then they walked it off.
Wait, she pushed her later in the game?
Earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why she has that stay death look on her face. Oh, it wasn't the same chick. So this girl, if you look like by the end of it, she wasn't on the base path. Like she wasn't walking the base path because she came from this direction. She just like you see her extend her arm.
I was really like watch her face when she goes to push
yeah, she braces herself.
Braces herself. It's funny.
All right, now let's talk a little strategy. It was just hysterical. That went on for damn near 2 minutes. And I was literally up in the booth when he tossed her, and then she just kept yelling, and I'm up there just out loud going, "Just throw her out. What's so tough about this? Throw her out." And then he throws her out, and I'm like, that's what I do around here, people. I make sure it happen. Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. I got eye rolls from everybody, so that was fun. But here's the play at the plate, in case you think that she missed the tag. Nah, she didn't miss the tag. That's a really good shot too. Whoever was on the field or by the field and caught that one. So yeah, that was the fun. The game they lost was almost more fun than the game they won. And the people that write for, say, the Journal Star and the Herald, I love them, but they just they can't really or don't really want to get into making fun of the Indiana coach. And I guess one thing on coordination is there's a little more freedom to do that. And I found like 4 or 5 different ways to refer to it as like a childish outburst, a tantrum, a meltdown, and I just kept going and really just pointed out how it took away from Indiana's hard-fought victory, And then if it wasn't bad enough, once the umps, here's the teams hanging out on the field afterwards, and the umps leave, and as soon as the umps leave, she must have been watching, because then she comes sneaking back through the gate in right field and running back, and her and her team celebrating like they just won a Super Bowl trophy, and not that your embarrassing manager just had a public pointless meltdown. And even PJ Fleck, I said in the article, even PJ Fleck would have found that weird. And nobody loves attention more than PJ Fleck. And I don't know, that it was a perfectly strange finish to a strange afternoon, but it wasn't boring. Huskers go to 33-11 on the year, 12-4 in the conference. They're still in third. They're tied with Northwestern, but have the head-to-head tiebreaker there. And they remain ranked in every poll. 21st in ESPN, 23rd in D1 softball, 22nd in Softball America, and 18th in USA Today and FCA. Their RPI, they moved up one spot from last week. They're at 26, unless, Mylie, has it changed since earlier today?
26.
Still 26, okay. And then their strength of schedule went up to 48, so it didn't punish them for losing to Indiana, but could have made a nice game there. I think it puts them in a position, probably not getting to 16, but to have any chance, they've got to win their last 6, and they actually have to sweep Washington. I think they're excuse me, they're safely in the tournament.
God, I felt that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're safely in the tournament. Now we're just seeing if they can sneak up to 16th and get and host a regional. I looked last week, and if you don't think the SEC is a powerful softball conference, because last year all 16 teams made the tournament, and I know they hosted a bunch of the regionals. If it ended today, I believe there's now 18. The strong get stronger. They went from 16 to 18, and the two that are that they added are the number 1 and 2 teams in the country, Texas and Oklahoma. So as of today, all 18 would go, and 10 would host 10 of they would host 10 of the 16 regionals. So
the SEC tires like.
What's that?
Don't pump the SEC tires like.
You know what? Give respect. I'll give respect where it's due there. That's kind of hard to argue with. I think Missouri's their lowest rated team, and they're like 40. They're still, looks like they're pretty safely in. But yeah, let's see. Oh, and our projected RPI dropped from 20th to 24th. I imagine they still show us I think you said they'd switched it to showing us losing 2 out of 3 to Washington last week.
I'll check again.
You may check again. She's my internet genius, folks. She can Google.
Yeah, I know. Woohoo!
What's the woohoo?
They have losing.
They have us getting swept now?
Yeah.
Well, if that only drops us to 24, I would imagine us sweeping them would give us a heck of a boost. And we'll have to get one now, because I don't think we're going to get much of one for, if anything, playing Maryland's going to hurt our RPI just because they're not good. Oh, boy.
6-1, 6-3, 4-3.
Okay. We'll see. Only 6-3 when McGee pitches?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, she well, fortunately we have the bats going, and I think that's kind of the plan with her. Is she does a decent job of, she puts a lot of runners on but battles out fairly decently. And yeah, she threw 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, walked 6, struck out 5, gave up 4 earned runs, and so her WHIP was 2.75, and her ERA for the game was a cool even 7, the equivalent to a 9 in baseball. So yeah, not a great shot, but 4 runs was more. Holding him to 4 runs was just enough to get us a run rule. So good for her. At least she's battling out, working through it. I'm just assuming that's happening because she started to get a little more control, and maybe they just want Hannah to focus on hitting, and they've moved Hannah to left, because now it's either if Jordy's pitching, Natalia Hill's been getting the start in center but not batting, they're DPing for her, and then if Jordy's not pitching now, she's playing center field, since Bella Bacon had been hitting pretty well, although she didn't this weekend. We'll talk to her in Hot or Not here in just a moment. Let's see, we got a few comments. What do we got? Well, you're commenting. We got a woo from Connor. Well, we've got a woo from
Someone's impersonating me.
Somebody's impersonating you?
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
Must be Connor.
that's a weird fan club. And then Connor also mentioned, hey, can't wait to watch the Pride of Nebraska play on Saturday, the Midland women's flag football team. Well, I'm not going to make it. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Loser.
It happens. Hey, loser. Okay, that's a fine time to tell everybody. If I did mention it last week, I'm going to Washington. I'm leaving tomorrow. Hope to make Billings, Montana tomorrow evening and then go rolling into Seattle Thursday evening. Funny, it's like to go to Seattle, Washington. I was thinking, God, there's going to be highway switches, maybe some state highways and all that. Basically, you just take I-29 north to Sioux Falls, hang a left on I-90, and drive to Seattle.
You're going to drive 12 hours tomorrow?
Huh?
You're going to drive 12 hours tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're psycho.
Yeah. It's a beautiful drive. It really... did you ever watch Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm basically driving through the set of Yellowstone. I'm going through Livingston and Bozeman. I think Livingston's the town there. Did you watch 1923?
No.
Oh, you got to watch 1923. We're up to who John Dutton the grandfather's father is, and he's just one. I think if there's a human tougher than Rip, it's Spencer Dutton from 1923, because he takes all the ability to beat up anybody on the planet and adds killing like lions and tigers in Africa or whatever.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Oh yeah, all of them. I think they have a mean elephant, or no, I think it's a leopard or something chases him into the love of his life up a tree, and it's just another one of those shows that makes you glad you weren't trying to do things in the Old West until now, because everybody just dies. Everybody dies in the West, just like the Million Ways to Die in the West movie. But yeah, that's my plan. Apparently I'm psycho, but I'm really looking forward to it, because the highways are just like, the interstate's just squiggly, scraggly everywhere. Just looks like just nothing but mountains and passes, and I love that kind of driving. So let's see. And here's the stadium. There's Washington Stadium. just sits right on the edge of Lake Washington and the Seattle area. And so I'll be spending 3 days as a guest with a press pass to go see all of these games, and it looks just like a heck of a place. There's also like 40 to 60% of chance of rain all 3 days, but I think that's just life in the Pacific Northwest, to be honest, for all you Twilight fans. But anyway, yep, I'm looking forward to that. Mylie?
Huh?
I got a question for you.
Oh God.
Last year, since we're getting well into the second year of this, and Mylie admittedly came into this not knowing much about softball, and I was like, well, it'll kind of be fun. We'll get she can learn with some of you guys. So I'm sure maybe just picking it up. Mylie, what is something that you know now that you just had no idea what was going on when you first started following and writing these games?
There's way too much math in this sport.
Well, there's way too much math in baseball too. That's
the same thing.
Yeah, but what about like goofy rules or something like that, or
why don't you give me questions before?
I don't know. Let's see. Okay, pretend I'm asking you before. Hey, Mylie, if you're on the show tonight, if I was to ask you something that you thought was goofy about softball or didn't really understand that you understand fine now, what would just be a good example of something like that?
I don't know.
Like the substitutions, or let's see, what else? What's that?
That's not weird.
That's not weird. Well, because in baseball, once you're subbed out, you're out.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, yeah. Well, then softball, they let you sub in and out. And then one of the other I'll tell you what. Here's one thing, and this was Matt Smith, a media director with the athletic department. As I'm watching some of these pitches, and I'm like, boy, some of those look like they're outside. Well, Matt pointed out that as opposed to like the baseball being like this, the softball is about that big, and just any part of it has to touch the plate. And given the distance between the plate and the batter's box, that's almost a softball-sized distance there. So they clip the edge of that plate, and that'll be a strike. And some of these fans will just go bananas. As I found out, it was at the Big Ten Finals 3 years ago. And the weird thing I found out there was that the Michigan fans, well, first of all, anything called a ball when the other team's batting or a strike when their team's batting is just an excuse for outrage every time. But there were some, like Liv Farrell and Courtney Wallace, were really kind of picking those corners and just driving the Michigan fans crazy. That I was telling Matt, it's like, those look like they're a little off. He goes, they just got to get a sliver. And he goes, and people will go nuts before they realize a lot of that softball can be off the plate and almost look like it's in the other batter's box, but they just got to trim it a little and it's a strike. And now I don't quite howl as much, as maybe I normally would, but I thought that was interesting. Let's talk about another low scoring game from the offense. They lost 6-2, and in their game threes the previous 3 weekends they'd scored 3-2 and 2.
We talked about this game.
Right, but we didn't. But not the fact, not just the bad
we're here all night.
This will be fast. Don't worry. We're not even to 30 minutes yet.
I'm ready for bed already.
Hey, I'm about to drink a whole bottle of Propel and let you carry the show for a couple minutes.
Hell no.
But anyway, do you think we ought to be worried about suddenly scoring low in one game a series, even though it wasn't the last this time?
Huh?
Should we be worried about the inconsistency of the bats, like for one game every weekend, when a team that's hitting 355 suddenly just takes a game off?
I mean, maybe it isn't regional 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're 3 weeks away from the regionals.
So that could be fun.
I'm thinking maybe they were okay this time because of the wind blowing in, and they're a team that likes to go deep to left. Except Emerson Coke, she loves to go, and she went deep in that game, like to right field, and just hit like a line drive out over the fence that would have been out on any day of the week with the wind, even with the wind going in. But other than that, it's like, a lot of the power goes to left. So I think as long as we don't run into 30 miles an hour in from left, we're probably okay. And we probably win that game. It wasn't like they weren't hitting. It's just the wind was grabbing anything. So I'm not going to lose my mind too much over that. And the same thing with now was Jordy a little shaky because she only struck out 4 and walked 6 in that game. But I will tell you that I think 3 or 4 of those 6 walks came on full counts and had the ump had the crowd thoroughly pissed at the ump, because they thought he kind of shaved her tight on. So I think that really easily could have been 8 strikeouts and 2 walks, not four strikeouts and 6 walks. Those pitches look pretty good. So I don't think that she's in any kind of trouble there. Anyway, let's go we'll go through hot or not quicker and not talk so much. Jordy went 2
You
for 4.
not talk so much? Damn. Okay.
I'll try my best. So Jordy was 2 in the 2. There's only 2 games. She was 2 for 4, running a ribby, but she also walked twice. So her on base was 667. She was 4 for 6. Sam Bland stayed hot. She was 3 for 7 with a triple, 4 RBIs. Didn't do anything with the triple in game 1, but had 2 2-run singles to knock in those 4 runs in game 2. Emerson Cope did all right. She went 3 for 7, had that home run, knocked in a couple. And let's see, who was Ava Kuzak. In the 2 games, she goes 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI and a couple runs. But she walks 4 times, so she actually goes 6 for 7 as far as on-base percentage. So that's just a fantastic weekend and a great eye to be able to get 4 walks out of them. And then let's go to the not list. Bella Bacon slowed down a little. She was 0 for 5, 1 for 6 on base with her walk. Laura Kamenson, she came in and drove in like the game-ending run. So she jumps in, and that made her 1 for 5 on the weekend. So she's still a little slow. And Hannah only went 2 for 8 with it, but she still produced. She had a double and a couple RBIs. So probably not much to worry about there. They'll be taking on Washington. They've got some decent power, not like ours. Like we out-homered them 85, but they've hit 58. They don't run too much, but they hit solid. They have a 292 average, nothing like our amazing 354. But they'll get on base, and they just don't have quite as much power. So we should have the advantage over them in hitting and pitching. there's not really a bad arm on the staff. They're going to use 3 of them. Their team ERA is 262 and ours is 250, but we walk a few more hitters. So our whip is 1.236 to their 1.110. So they're a hard team to get on base against. We're going to have to show up ready to hit against a good team. They are 31-13 on the year, 9-6 in the conference, and in seventh place. And they just got swept by UCLA. They didn't get blown out. They can't really beat the ranked teams. They beat number 13 Arizona, and they beat Oregon once, number 5. But they are 2-9 overall against ranked teams. But they only have like one bad loss, like Oregon ruled them 9-0. But other than that, they finish the games. They don't get blown out by the good teams either. Their only bad loss was, even though they won 2 out of 3, they lost to Michigan State, whose RPI is 177. So that's a little embarrassing. But I think everybody has one of those and notched one of those in their belt at some point. Let's start with their pitching, which I said was good. That all their pitchers' ERAs are under 3. Their best is Sophia Ramund, R-A-M-U-N-D. She's got a 2.04 ERA. She's 12-2? Oh wait, no, that's the innings. I forgot to write down the record. I think she's like 9-3 or something like that, but has a whip under 1. So she's very stingy about allowing people on base. She struck out 122 batters in 92 innings, so she's got Jordy-like power to get the hitters swinging, and she's only walked 20, so a lot of control. Looks like she's got some mean stuff. But I would bet we see 3 pitchers, because you have Morgan Reimer, who has a 2.75 ERA, a 1.13 whip, and Stevie Hansen, who's got a 2.54 ERA and like a 1.010 whip. So these guys don't let batters on. Then they all strike people out. Reimer struck out 110 batters in 94 innings, and Hansen struck out 64 and 69. So we're going to be facing a pretty salty staff. But the question is, it's going to be our hitters, I think, versus their pitchers that determine this. I think we're going to have 2 games where we shut them down, and then we're going to have to get some runs probably when Kylie McGee starts on Saturday. So I guess we'll see what happens. But what do you think of that stadium, huh?
That's pretty.
That's really nice. That's
Sick and
exciting.
tight.
That's going to be so much of an improvement over Wichita State. they have a wonderful people.
That's Kansas.
Yeah, but they like Northwestern, who Nate Rohr was making fun of their stadium. He was just saying things like, and Northwestern, a program that deserves much better from its athletic department than they're getting from this lousy stadium. And they've got a new like $20 million stadium, I think, that's going to be ready next year. And same with Wichita. So at least good programs now are, I think, going to get stadiums they deserve. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to hang around after, do a little hiking, camping maybe. I know a couple people up there. See if I can snag some free lunches. What's that?
Please don't get air mountains again.
Oh, you know what? It was fun. If I had 2 rangers that were going to be looking like that every time, I'd be getting airlifted every trip. That's not disgusting. It's just fact. It's simple fact. They were really nice too. Well, anyway, I think what do we got? I think that's about it.
Sick.
How about that?
I'm so ready to.
Well, I tried to get tonight's done a little early because Mylie showed up looking like death warmed over, and I need to get packed. I'm going to try and get out of here at like 6 in the morning, and I just want to be able to wake up, get my coffee, and jump in the car and be on my way. Let's see. We've got a couple more comments come in. Oh, Connor's throwing down on you.
What's new?
He says football math is better than baseball math. Yeah, that's a load. There's so many more numbers to play with in baseball. And then I believe this is your loving brother wants to know who allowed my sister to be on camera. Mustang, are you still there?
Sadly, my father.
That's me. That's all me. And she's sorry that I talked her into it too. But yeah, you got it, punk. That's all you got, Drew? Huh? That's all you got? For those of you who don't know,
He's sending me JD Vance memes.
He's sending you what?
memes about how JD Vance killed Pope.
Oh, well, we don't do the political stuff on here.
I watched it.
As funny as it is, I just heard JD Vance, so yeah, I got to cut you off there.
Oh my god.
Connor says the numbers are like that's why it's worse, and it's like, well, or better depending. Oh, Drew says nope, he's watching hockey. I'm preoccupied. It sounds like you're co-occupied there. You're playing in our comments section and watching hockey. Who's winning? Throw that up there. Tell us who's winning, and then I'll send Mylie to bed. I'll take her off your computer. Come on, kid. Connor jumped in. Couldn't wait for Drew anymore. Oh, there he goes. Oh, wait. Drew's is more. God, go away. Share your referral link. Let's see. Okay, there you go. I shared my. It hid my. it hid my comments to make me share the referral link. So Drew says Toronto up 2-1 and Tampa up 2-1, and Carolina won 3-1. And Connor says this stupid thing says Panthers are up 2-1, not Tampa. So we're probably gonna have to go now. Yeah, and Drew admits, yeah, it is Florida. So we've just gone, and Connor has called Drew an idiot, and on those words, not Drew's still going, not Tampa. With
he doesn't realize he's been called an idiot yet.
Yes, with my daughter's boyfriend calling my son an idiot, I think we've reached the point where it's just time to get our family out of your lives until next week. Hopefully, I'll be back by next Tuesday. Well, let's see. I'll be doing next Tuesdays from still out in Washington somewhere. So maybe I'll be in some creepy hotel.
You can't take a week off.
I could. What, you want to run it?
Fuck no.
Okay, then no. I'm not taking a week off with like one series left. And what better time to once again ask Propel to sponsor me? I'm here for you guys. Yeah, it's a wonderfully delicious drink. And the little flip the bird head scratch. All right here back at you. Oh god. Oh look, Mylie, she's talking shit, but look at this. She loves her brother.
Connor.
Love you, Drew. Put up here. Wait. Oh, can I do hearts? Will it let me? Yes, it will. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there's the heart. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Corn Nation recognizing the love. It's hearts from Mylie to Drew. Who's that? Carl Pence just jumped in and says, I want to see our Husker Jordan Ball Beanball Washington's best hitter. Oh, real quickly, that's Alexis DeBoer. She hits 364, has 17 homers, 48 ribbies, 1.277 OPS. Yeah, she's their best hitter. Jaden Glab has 12 homers, and then you have Ava Carroll who hits 337. So after that, they drop off, but not to horrible hitting, just to like 270s to 290s type hitting. So there we go. Oh, Connor's getting in on the fun. Another little hearty. All right. Well, Mylie, what do we say when we're done for the evening?
GBR.
Go Big Red. And
Drew can suck it.
Here, well, after throwing up how much you love him, maybe you better watch that.
Wasn't me.
So anyway, for sibling love, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, for driving through Yellowstone country to Seattle, go Big Red. I'll see you next Tuesday from, who knows, might even be Mount St. Helens. It'll only be 6 o'clock out there. Maybe I can do it live with the moonscape of Mount St. Helens in the background. But anyway, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Let's have a Husker sweep. Let's take a run at that, hosting that regional. I really don't want to go back to Stillwater where they always send us. God. Anything but Stillwater. Go Big Red. Good night, everybody. Mylie, you ready to go?
Yes.
Night, everybody.